Hi, I'm Suzanne Castle, and this is the Thought Leader Thursday. I'm here today introducing you to another incredible leader, thinker, doer, and all-around amazing human who's going to help each of us think about our world a little bit differently than anyone else. From artists to teachers, from actors to moms, from the big names to the you didn't know about them till now names, my hope is that you will connect with a leader who helps you light up in your corner of this galaxy. This is the Thought Leader Thursday show. Welcome back to the Thought Leader Thursday. I'm Suzanne Castle. I'm glad you're here for about 20 minutes of jam and content with a thought leader who's thinking about the world, life, alignment, how to be in the world in a different fashion. I can't wait for you to meet our special guest in the studio. Holy cow. Before we do that though. All right, so Andrew, I'm really curious. What makes you get out of bed in the morning?
I like this one a lot. This one, what makes me get out of bed this morning is my excitement of like what I can get done in a day. Like if I have exciting projects that I'm working on, like that motivation kind of drives me to get out of bed.
I love that. I love that so much. And it's a perfect question as we introduce you to the wonder that is Kendall Bergman. Here's what you need to know. This amazing leader has built a career through Susan G. Komen and the Livestrong Foundation. I know right now you're paying attention. You're sitting up. You're about to take some notes because she is going to really share with us some of the prominent nonprofit lessons and how she's aligning herself, her clients, and a different understanding of empathy in the world. So besides that, she's done patient advocacy program. She ensures the best interests of different kinds of patients, different kinds of people through empathetic listening, through conflict resolution. She's integral in building organizations from the ground up, like Livestrong, like Susan G. Komen. And those who know her well know her for her faith, which has been persistent through all kinds of ups and downs in her life. She's fiercely loyal. She's an incredibly devoted human. She has a close-knit, fur-natured family. We all know how important that is to me. And boy, she have a wonderful, infectious laugh. I hope we get to hear that today. She lives in East Dallas. That's why she's here. She lives with her fur family, Sunny and Otis. They do boss her around all day. How many other fur parents can say that? Yep, me too. She's got so many certifications and degrees. But what I think most intriguing about Kendall is that all this diversity, all these different kinds of humanity, from nonprofit to for-profit, from fur friends to humans, she brings them all together with just this gentle spirit. So she's a coactive training coach. She has a certificate in resilient services from the Seattle School of Theology and Psychology. She's a Bachelor's of Arts in English Literature. Like I said, she's no slack, this amazing woman. A Master of Arts in Counseling from the School of Seattle at Theology and Psychology. A Master of Divinity as well. She's trained in dialectical behavior therapy. I know we all need some of that. And as well as lifespan integration. Kendall Bergman, you are in the house, and I am so excited to welcome you. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I was watching one of the episodes over the past couple of days. Someone said, man, I just wish I could carry you around with me to remind me when I'm having the blues or feeling down or like I'm a fraud, because that doesn't make me feel like a fraud one single bit.
You are truly stunning. And thank you for that wonderful compliment. I do wish that was a professional job for me. I would love to just pour into other people,
Right.
Remind them what a wonderful slice of humanity they are on this ball we call Earth. Because it's a wonderful honor for me to have you here.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to take a moment for that. Like, I'm going to get a little emotional. The work that you do really inspires people, and it inspires me. And you've branched into a new business called the Discovery Well, where you're really working on that, and I want to talk about that. But I wanted to share about getting out of bed every morning with Andrew, because I know that your path has led you to all these different kinds of showing up in the world with different kinds of people and different kinds of mission, and yet you inspire them to really unleash inside of them what would get them out of bed in the morning, not from I have to show up, but I get to show up kind of energy and spirit. And you weave faith and alignment with that, but I want to know what gets you out of bed every morning. I mean, you're a dynamo. You do all these amazing things. So at this point in your life, what gets you out of bed besides your fur babies?
Well, okay, thank you so much. You just took the answer from me, because I do have one that's extremely bossy and won't let me sleep in. I think what gets my feet on the ground out of bed is the opportunity to make a difference. Maybe not just in someone else's life, but maybe in my own life.
I mean, that's really powerful. And I don't know how many people really understand the impact that they could have personally in their own lives if they just took a moment to say, what would be most important for me today?
Right.
And how then do I get to do that work?
Right.
Instead of just, oh, I have to check a box and I have to do it this way because that's what I've always known.
Right.
I don't think that's the work that you're about at all because of the way that you think about the world.
Right. And I think that I lived so much of my life professionally and personally feeling like I was a square peg trying to shove myself into a round hole, checking the lists, doing the things, building the career, creating the resume. Those things somehow, they matter, but the most important thing is the posture of my heart, I think. And I will say, I believe that it's not, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. I'm aware that we're in Holy Week.
Yeah.
And I have this study I'm going through, and that this God would chase after us because he wants us. He wants me. I mean,
right.
Just the way I am, not with any bells and whistles or different, just me. And that kind of love is, I still think I'm learning how to receive that.
I think that I would say if there's one sickness in humanity in general that I have seen, and I could be wrong every day because I am about something, it is that we don't understand the power of love.
Right.
For our own selves, for humanity, for the earth that we share, flora, fauna, animals. But if we truly understood the power that love could have of transformation, then gosh, I think the world would be a much better place.
Yes.
And the work that you're doing is about that.
Yep.
And, I wanted to bring a t-shirt that said Love Unleasher because I feel like that's a lot of what you do. And the way that you integrate your faith life, conflict resolution, empathetic listening, really change systems and theories and how to access those from a higher level plane, not just I have to get through this plane.
Right.
I was lucky enough to get to hear you speak to a group of really high-powered professional women, which I still don't understand how I was in that room at all. But you really masterfully just kind of gently prodded us and took us through this kind of theoretical approach on why we do what we do. And at any point we can say, yeah, I don't think that is what I want to be about anymore. And you gave us some really specific tools to help us think about that question differently. So when you think about your current work and the role of faith and love in your life, tell us about how those parts are all playing together.
I think they're playing together. I think the glue or the bridge or the tape or whatever it is, it's holding those things together would be curiosity and hope.
Ooh.
And it's interesting. I was doing a workshop for a group of leaders in Austin a couple of weeks ago, and we were doing some values work for them. So level setting before they move into strategic planning.
Right.
Let's not. And the question that they would ask when I was setting up the exercise for them individually before the workshop in person, they would ask, well, are these professional or personal goals? And I looked at them, values, professional or personal values. And I would just look at them and say, they're your values.
Yes.
Not the organization's values, not what you think your boss wants your values to be, but what are the things that get you out of bed in the morning and motivate you? And so going through that exercise was, I think, it was not just powerful, potentially transformative for them. It was transformative for me to lead them through that. And one of the things I want to go back to is curiosity. I kept encouraging them, ask a question. So it's workshop, so we're workshopping in real time. And I kept encouraging them, ask your colleague a question.
Yeah.
And that is one of the hardest things maybe to learn. And I think you can learn it. You can exercise that muscle in practice. I don't think there's a need to master or own curiosity, but that is a muscle that can be strengthened. They would make a comment, an affirmation, a statement, something emphatic, which is great. They were bolstering up,
Yes.
cheering on their colleagues, encouraging. Vulnerability is a part of curiosity, and because in a question is I don't know. When I ask a question, it's implied. I
Right.
don't know something. And so that's part of the work as well. Let's be vulnerable in safe spaces, and let's practice that as well.
You know, it just occurred to me, thank you.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times when we ask questions in team-based environments, meaning your family, meaning colleagues, friends even, so team-based environments, and I do a lot of work in collaboration. So it's interesting that you say you're asking a question because you want to know something. You want to garner a bit of knowledge or check in with people, right? And I think so much of us, when we're on the other side of the question, are they micromanaging me? Or I know they already know this, they're just checking me. And if we could instead set that aside and say, we're all in this together, they really want to know or they wouldn't be asking.
Right.
That is a whole different posture to occupy.
And what if it's a question more about who the person is and how they be in the world, and not so much about what they're doing?
Yes.
Not so much the tasks or the lists, but how are you?
Right.
I really want to know.
Right. And you know, people receive that differently, right? And we when we were at lunch, we talked about some of the work that I do is on creating communication agendas for people, not just your meeting agenda, but you have to know how things land. And in a room full of 10 people are going to hear it differently.
Yeah.
And so you might need to say it in a bunch of different ways so everybody can receive it in the way that it was intended. And so really checking in and taking a moment and understanding, like I'm the Energizer Bunny, and like we can go grab coffee, and I'm like, whoa, yay! But somebody else needs a little like hand on a shoulder. Hey, tell me how you're doing, in a softer tone and not as direct as me, let's say. And I know a lot of the work that you do is around really fostering that awareness of people, kind of unlocking that knowledge for them that I know is deep down inside of them somewhere.
Exactly. Isn't that powerful to know about another person?
Yes.
You know, and I get to journey alongside you and point out some things I'm seeing and ask a question that may a light bulb. It sometimes it is as pronounced as a light bulb going off over the person's head.
Right.
Oh, wait. They were caught, they were seen. They are known in a way that they thought they were invisible.
Right.
And I think that another part of the work that I'm doing right now is integral to this sense of belonging. We are all longing to belong.
Yes.
I think it's in our DNA.
Oh, definitely. You know, I talk a lot about, you're doing sacred work. So let's name it as sacred, because holding relationships and holding space for people is sacred work.
Yeah.
And I want to name it as such. But I do believe that there's this kind of the architect of all creation, whatever you call that being, there's a God-shaped hole in all of us.
Yeah.
And we fill it up either with addictions or not great choices or love or hope or whatever. But that sense that needs to be filled up, that sense of creating community, belonging, whatever, you will find a way to fill that. And I know a lot of the work that you're doing is around let's think about helpful and healthful ways to activate that spiritual part of yourself.
Right.
So the Discovery Well, that name is so imaginative and so inviting. And I love that a lot. And your website, by the way, go check out Kendall's website, wonderful resources on there. You don't want to miss out. And I know that the ways you talked a lot about activating in the world today, how you're kind of shifting and changing and gathering. I would say that Kendall's a gatherer, right? You're a Levin Leisure and a gatherer of humanity, right? And your business with the Discovery Well, it's about clarity, it's about empowerment, it's about guidance, it's about transformation. Would you talk just a little bit about that work?
Yeah. So with individual clients, the work that I do, typically the client comes in, oftentimes I will ask, what do you want? And that is one of the most difficult questions for most of us to answer from one moment to the next. I don't know what I want is the most common answer. So then I might back up a little bit. Well, what do you need in this moment? Well, we can talk about that. the work I invite people into, the client is in the driver's seat. I'm along for the ride. The work I invite them to is around their values. I mentioned that earlier with the work I did with the organization leadership team down in Austin, and people don't stop to think. I have not looked at any research on this, but I would venture to say the majority of the world doesn't stop to think about their values.
Right.
What is intrinsically part of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Their way they were born into this world has informed that, and their environment, their culture has informed that. Whatever the value, if it's freedom, if it's justice. Mm-hmm. The other thing I invite them to is to think about why that is of value. Tell me a because statement.
Sure.
You might run into somebody on the street and they share the same value, but they're coming at it from a different angle.
Right.
This is, again, a place of creating safe spaces for vulnerability to occur, which leads to a shared experience with humanity.
Yeah.
So what you said, this power of love, right? Yes. You can't hate somebody. Well, you can. You'd have to work really hard sometimes to stay in that hatred place. But then, so moving from values then to inviting people, they often don't like this. You are choosing all the time.
Sure.
Even not choosing is a choice.
Absolutely.
That can really piss them off. And then walking with them along through the rest of this corridor that I'm taking them down to set up just what you had mentioned, these life-giving practices to shore this up. My intention is not to be working with people for their entire lives. This isn't therapy. This is work that can be therapeutic, right, and transformative. But the intention is that they are resourced to oftentimes just end up coaching themselves.
Right. That's truly wonderful. And I love that is the way that you're accessing and thinking about the people that are called towards you, right? Mm-hmm. And that you're one part of their destination.
That's exactly right.
But you're not the end for them. And I love that you're a resource magnet, because that is truly what I think sets you apart from a lot of other people that I talk to, is that you want to resource and you want to shepherd them to the next thing. You're not holding things back so that they'll keep working with you. The ethics that you employ are truly outstanding. So if no one has said that to you today.
Oh, well, thank you.
I appreciate that. Okay, so the last thing I ask every single person who comes on this show is their own definition of what it means to sparkle, and I can't wait to hear yours.
I've been thinking about this. And this, I don't. This is almost like the question, "What do you want?" It's a big question.
It's a big question.
I think so. So ask me how you ask me again. Ask how you ask the question. Ask me again.
What would be your definition of what it means to sparkle?
What it means to sparkle. What it means for me to sparkle. You know what? What it means for me to sparkle is to show up authentically, whether I'm loaded with anxiety, whether I'm as calm and cool as a cucumber, and to trust the other person can hold that, and I don't need to fix or change any part of what's happening in the moment. And so that when like in this moment, I feel, first of all, I'm having a hot flash, so I am sort of sparkling.
Thank you for being honest and transparent.
I will also say that being able to share that with you, that is my sparkle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
See? Truth will set you free on so many levels.
It's the truth.
Kendall, you honor me as you honor so many people.
Thank you.
Thank you for your life-giving journey to so many women, to so many athletes, to so many people that are struggling, and for all those people that have yet come to discover you in the Discovery Well. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Suzanne.
I can't wait to see you on the next Thought Leader Thursday. Stay tuned. Check out more shows. Be sure and check out in the show notes how to connect with Kendall. I'm Suzanne, and I'll see you on the next Thought Leader Thursday.